Okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah, the video is not frozen. It was just it's on pause. I was chatting away and I forgot to ask if you could hear me. You cannot hear me? Yes. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. So nice to see you all. I wasn't late. I was here with you. I was just talking away for the last few minutes, saying hi and everything. And I didn't realize I didn't do my sound check. It happens to us all the time. So, okay, so no, the video is not frozen. It is on pause where we left off last week. So it's nice to see you all. I'm not going to show my video. No need to during this tonight. Anyway, we're going to go through the next 1/2 hour of Brooks's police interrogation. And again, we did, I'll repeat what I was saying for anyone who's joining us new. Hello and welcome. And this is the second 1/2 hour. This is about a 2-hour, just short of 2-hour police interrogation. If you would like to see the 2 hours without chatting and without reactions in the live chat, which we're doing here tonight, then you can look in the description of this video, excuse me, of this video, and you can see where to find that, as well as a 15-minute intro to this case by yours truly, Honey Vase. Sorry, I was talking away. And also, I'm updating my docket because there are some changes in dates, in court dates. But we have a lot coming up in January, all the way through April this year already. It's going to be busy. So let's get to it. Are you ready? It's so nice to see you all again. Thanks for being here. Sorry about the first 3 minutes of no sound, no audio. All right, let me know if you can hear the video. Right now, we'll give it a shot.
To do all that, to use the grounds out there for his house, because he's only got about 7 acres here in town, and he wants to keep growing and expanding. And a way to do that, I don't have time to bush hog and all that, so I would rather keep up with the grounds by letting somebody do that and participate and let them. I don't charge them no money.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
So
But he keeps his cows out there.
yes, it's a good trade-off. Absolutely.
But he wasn't there Friday. That you saw.
No, he wasn't there Friday night.
When you were there, right? Not before. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not before, but when you were there, he wasn't there. So you all fed the cows with the bucket, and watched them eat, and then you walked. Now, when you said you walked the road to the grab, you're talking about not just to the turnaround that goes right.
No. We walked to the back
to where the old county road goes to.
Where I put yes, exactly. Okay. Where the road gets a little harder. I mean, you can still drive a car on it, but there's a little bit of grass in the middle. But
right.
we.
And that's what goes when you get to if I'm
cul-de-sac at the top of the hill.
Right. If you get to the turnaround here,
this the house is right here in the barn here. Right here is where, yes, and it goes back there a far pit. And there's 3 big pens back through there. There's 3 separate fields where we rotate the pasture and stuff.
Gotcha. And you said you walked from field 1?
Yeah, let me just make it real clear for you. Is this, you can put this in your paperwork or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't write that, but.
No, I drew it out for somebody else.
The barn, and then of course the fence does something like this.
Right, kind of gives an angle off Mom's place.
And then it goes all the way back. So somewhere right in here, this is a double gate. This is where we go in. Right here is where we enter the field, because this is barbed wire, and then over here is kind of. An octagon's 8, but it ain't 8. This is like a pen out here that we can move, and then there's some talk and stuff in here. And then I think right here, that field separates and then there's another gate right here. So this is number 1, and then way up here, this is number 2, and then number 3 goes a far piece back through there. Right. So we go through this gate, and then the gate from 2 to 3, the other gate's up here.
Right.
You know what I'm?
Yeah.
And then there's more food in field number 3 than there are on these other two, because these two are 8 down close.
Mhm.
So a lot of times, and it's cooler back there in them ravines and hollers for the cows than if they're on this flat land, and they would rather stay cooler and eat back there. And there ain't a big pond back there, but there's a little pond for them for a water supply too right now. So more often than not, they go back there in that third field, but like in later in the evening, a lot of times we're consistent at the times, and sometimes we're not. But a lot of times in the evening, they'll drift up here thinking they're going to get some feed.
Right.
Yeah.
For the sweet feed. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you all, when you all went for the cows, though, I think.
Yeah, we went in this gate right here, and then we walked all the way back through there.
So that because they weren't up in field 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remembered to unmute myself. Oh, I'm going to have a good night. Okay. So, yeah. So this is why I believe he was trying so hard to distract this officer, from this detective, from everything else, because that gentleman that he was going on and on about how he works for the city and he works for him and he doesn't really get paid. And I'm not really a farmer, but I do love farming and all that stuff, because that gentleman wasn't even there that Friday night. And now we're getting down to what were his movements. And of course, now he's going to go back to this, oh, I'm such a helpful little boy and I'm going to draw you a picture. What I thought was so interesting is when he took the paper to draw on, he offered to the detective, well, you can keep this in your file. In other words, I'm going to help you so much that I'm going to do this drawing for you, and you can actually keep it in the police file, as if the detective would need his permission or him to say that. And then secondly, he noticed, Brooks Houck noticed that there was something already written on the piece of paper. Now, he just grabbed that paper. It wasn't like the detectives handed him a piece of paper and said, could you draw it for me? He offered to do it. And then he noticed, oh, there's something already written on this piece of paper. So Brooks is noticing every single detail and voicing it, which I find very, very interesting. All right. I do not believe it was that person who was arrested. That is a different person. The person who was arrested, who I think you're thinking of, there was a father and then a son, and then later the father arrested, and they're being charged with conspiracy. I believe that person is in a wheelchair. And then there was another person who was arrested or who was thrown in jail for over a month for perjury. Yeah, he said that's not whatever was on the piece of paper already, which it was just so weird, because he's the one who took the piece of paper. It would be like I take a piece of paper from someone and then call out that there was something that person had already written on it or whatever. It's their paper. They can have whatever on it that they want. So Exotic Prairie says, I was so scared for Crystal's mom, Sherry, being that close when Stephen Lawson walked into court. Ooh, that's scary. That's an icky thought. Yeah. Yeah, and that Lawson looks like he reminds me of somebody really scary that was in my life. It just really bothers me. I can't even look at his pictures. And hey, Mona asks, is this the part when he double pile flips through the two copies? Double pile flips through the two. That was originally the phone records, I believe, that you're talking about, when the detective gave him a copy of his phone records. Yes. Lots of players. Yes, lots of players. And he's trying to maintain control. That's right. And Sherry is very brave. And wow, what she's been through. She's very brave, but I mean, it's a courtroom. It should be fairly safe, although things can happen, as we know, in courtrooms. So, okay, let's keep going.
So, okay, so you fed the cows. What else did I read there? Sorry. I'm doing all kinds of crazy stuff over there. you fed the cows, and then you come back out and you walked the road, right? The road that goes to the.
Yeah, after we come back out from walking up through here, then we walk out to here, which is, there's another. Can I see your pen again? So there's another. It ain't exactly straight, but it looks something like this.
That's the driveway.
Yeah, this driveway to the barn.
Right.
And then we walk out the road and we just walk back through there.
And how long would you say that road goes back into there? Do you know? If you had to guess.
I don't know. I bet it's a good mile.
From
right
the
here.
barn to the end of that road and back. So a couple mile walk going to and from.
Yeah, if you go, because there's a cul-de-sac right here. There's also a cul-de-sac I put in up here, and then there's a third cul-de-sac at the very end, by a creek back there in the very back.
Oh, okay. But you think it's about a mile, maybe?
I would say
close.
close, yeah.
So you walked to the end of there and you came back. Did y'all do any work on the barn or anything while you were there?
No, we didn't do no work on that barn.
Didn't work on the driveway or anything like that?
Mm-hmm.
The dozer, the reason I ask is because the dozer that's sitting there, did somebody use that to put that driveway in or put rock on that driveway recently? Or
No, on Saturday, I moved it over there. It was parked. That dozer, I've got a skid steer also broke down.
Right.
I've got a skid steer right here with some weeds growing up around it.
Yeah.
And then I had a dozer. The dozer right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, I backed it right across here. Right here. And there's been a water coming in the front. There's a big door right here in the front of the barn.
Mm-hmm.
And water had been going in the front of it right here. And then I moved, and I wanted to, she's always complaining about, my mother is always complaining about the trash and rubble that she likes to keep everything neat and clean. She likes to keep the grass mowed short, but I'm not going to pay a high bill to take that stuff to the county dump when I can clean it up easy. It's too much to do all at once, but I can, every time I come out there, I can throw a match on it or burn a little pile. Eli likes to roast marshmallows, so what I do, and we spend so much time out there, what I do is put a pile and I'll light a little piece of it on fire. Mm-hmm. And then that way I don't have a huge fire, but I've got enough that I'm constantly getting rid of some, and then they won't charge me that high density fee out there at the dump. So I'm going to take all this equipment, this skid steer too. I just haven't drug it over there yet. And then all these trailers with them weeds are high. I'm going to try to get it on both sides of these doors, just to get it out of there.
Did you burn anything Friday night when you were out there?
Yeah, yes, it's not uncomfortable. I don't want the stuff piling up to the moon. I always light a fire. There was a little pile, probably, I'll write that on there. Right here with this little.
Right. This is why I don't think it was raining, because they were out there and he didn't mention rain that night. I mean, it may have rained later. I'm not sure. But at this point, they're talking about them being out. They're not talking them being out in the rain. And they had their little tweet. He was very young. His little boy, Eli, I think was only 2, running around out there with the cows and whatnot and roasting marshmallows. So I didn't have the impression it was a stormy night or raining for that reason. I don't have that in my mind. But the other thing that's weird, and I noted this previously, is he having this 2-year-old around this fire? It's like he's talking about burning trash, and he called it rubble, but I think he meant rubbish. Roast marshmallows on that, it could be toxic, right? I don't know what he's talking about here. So yeah, the whole marshmallow. Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, thank you guys. Here we go. We'll keep going.
pile here, I think y'all may have covered it up. Y'all got out there.
I think we did.
Slung stuff everywhere, but.
Yeah, I apologize.
It don't matter.
Well, the dog, that lady's dog, she said acted like there was something under there.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. So I had a water problem right there, and I'm in the process.
Okay, now just see how Brooks just brushes right over what the detective said. The lady's dog thought there was something underneath there. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Well, that's fine. You say you're in love with Crystal, that you love each other very much, and you're and the detective is just mentioning there might have been some detection from a dog in that area. Wouldn't you be a little bit more curious and excited that they may have found something? Oh, he's so bad at this.
Process of getting that right there fixed. We dug out right there in front of that door to try to let a vein of water come out because it's too low. The slab is.
And that was Saturday?
That was Saturday when I did that.
Do you remember what time Saturday you got out there?
Mm-mm.
Was you before lunch, after lunch?
Oh yeah, it was well before lunch. It wasn't. It was morning time, but it wasn't early morning. It wasn't late morning. It was about mid morning.
So you had a little fire. When was that? After you took your walk or before you took your walk?
I lit it. I don't know if I lit it right before we took off walking. I know we fed the cows first because I want to do that as quickly while we had still plenty of daylight. I don't know if I lit the fire before we walked back here or right when I got back. I could have done it either one. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm. So you lit the fire. I'm assuming then you probably don't leave until the fire burns out. Would you leave it burning? I don't know. I generally don't like to walk.
Yeah, but if it's just a bed of coals,
it's not like burning.
I wouldn't leave if I thought there was any danger. Not when especially when I got all this equipment and bar and stuff right there. But I mean, if it's died down and it's just a big bed of coals, I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
You know, especially if it's not in August or September when everything's just perfectly dry. It wasn't.
We had plenty of rain.
Yeah, and the ground's wet and dew's on. Yeah, it's not a big deal. To me, I'm not a firefighter, so.
But you definitely moved the dozer on Saturday.
Yeah, I moved the dozer on Saturday.
Is there a septic system with that barn?
There is.
Okay.
It's never been hooked up. There's never been a toilet put on there. But I tell you who put it in there. And he can tell you exactly how 100% it was done. It's Casey Ballard.
Casey Ballard did?
Mm-hmm.
And Casey Ballard, is that her?
That's her brother.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. So he put the septic, is there like an opening somewhere where you can access it for maintenance and whatnot? Mm-hmm. Where would that be at?
There's a big pole out in the middle of this, in field number 1 right here.
Uh-huh.
There's a great big pole like this right here.
Uh-huh.
That marks the end of it. It's got one big lateral, big pipe on it, and it's marked out there so somebody don't crush it with a tractor.
So the opening for the top of the septic tank?
No, the top,
you're talking about the lateral line.
Yeah, that just daylights out.
Right.
There's a big, underneath that, right where this fence is right there, there's a big round lid right here.
Okay. Next to fence for field 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And how long has that septic system been there? I noticed the work probably kind of ongoing.
Probably about 3 years. 3 years. I just never did finish that barn, because I've had so much other stuff going on. But in that barn, I've kind of got a little a little.
Yeah, I saw
room
where you
there.
were putting the cedar plant.
I never got done with it, but I'm close to getting it done. I just never made it that far.
Right.
But yeah, the right where that little plumbing, that little bathroom is, right on the outside of the barn, there's a big a septic tank right there, and then there's a great big long piece of pipe right here, a bleeder valve, and then it's marked by there's a big pipe. There's an iron T-post out in the middle of this field, and then I took a piece of PVC pipe that's weather resistant, and I just slid over top. It would stop the post from rusting, and it's also much taller than the grass, so that if the grass did get up real high, somebody wouldn't hit it with a bush hog, or anyone would hit it with a mower or something like that.
All right, so
You guys, oh, I'm sorry, I'm laughing so hard. The way he finishes off some of his little stories just like that, and then he kind of squirms and rubs his leg, and look how his okay, let's see, it would be his left shoulder, the arm that's up on the table closest to the camera. He's sort of like turning his shoulder in, like almost like in a flirtatious movement, covering his leg. He just finished his story. He's acting like a little prima donna who's just finishing up a dance and taking a bow, and he wants to be pat on the back or something for it, like a little kid. It's just so odd how he goes into these details, and it really, I mean, it honestly looks like he believes that this is working, and that the detective is not obviously going to look at this tape a million times, but that he's actually going to throw him off of his game by talking about all these strange details. And by the way, some of these details may come back to bite him too. It's just so strange, his mannerisms. I have some theories I'm not going to share right now.
you guys you've taken your walk. The fire is down, maybe not out, but it's down enough, and you're leaving. And it looks, again, looking at the video, looks like it's about 5 minutes till midnight.
All right.
That's to me, and I've got a couple of kids, but everybody parents a little differently. To me, it seems a little late to be out on the farm with a 2.5-year-old. Where is he at midnight? Has he been asleep in the car for a while? Is he still
He's still wide open, and
Really?
any night he's so used to sleeping so later in the morning. His normal day, that's his 7, 8 o'clock in the evening. Really? 11, because she sleeps much later in the morning. She stays up. So and it's always been that way.
So he's at midnight.
He's wide open.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys get back and load up in the truck. Load up in the truck, and you drive back. You leave out. I see you leave out the driveway at about 11:55. Somebody passes you on the drive back on Loretta Road about 10 minutes after midnight or so. He says, roughly, we're still kind of narrowing that down, but roughly sees you about 10 after midnight, which wouldn't be uncommon. It's been raining most of the day. The roads are kind of wet. 15 minutes from your mom's house to the golf course. There's Caddyshack. Not a big deal there. And so do you remember, or did you go straight home on Friday night, or did y'all stop somewhere? Or, because I'm thinking if that's their normal 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, it might be dinner time. Did you stop and eat something, or did you go straight home?
We did not eat anything. I went straight home.
Okay. So you went straight home. So if we assume that he's correct in about 10 minutes after midnight, another 10 minutes to the house or so. So
I don't see it being that late. I mean, if that's what some of the things say, I guess you'd have to kind of go by that. But yeah, we didn't stop anywhere. We went straight home.
So you could feasibly be home by 11:30. You could be home.
I feel like it.
Which is what you told me. You thought, or I'm sorry, not 11:30, 12:30. You could feasibly be home by 20 minutes after 12. If he passes you at 10 minutes after 12.
All right.
Which is a little off from what you originally told me. And you just said, I still think it's a little off, but we'll go with what the camera says as opposed to memory, because sometimes memory is not that great.
All right.
And I checked the time on her camera and I'm allowing for about a 9-minute gap there between what my watch says and what her camera says.
All right.
So which puts you leaving there by 11:55, which, you know, again, 15 minutes to Caddyshack is not terribly bad in the rain. So it could have been that he passed you at 10 minutes after midnight, putting you home roughly 20 minutes after 12.
All right.
Fair enough?
Yes.
So you guys get home 20 minutes after 12, right there, thereabouts. I think you said you went to bed first. Do you remember about how long you were home before you went to bed?
I went to bed immediately.
So when you guys got in, you went and did your nightly routine and you're going to bed. I think you told me that she stayed up, and Eli, did he stay up as well?
He was.
And what was
Okay, just a quick interruption because this is where the detective is getting a little bit more diving in, and he's going to be a little bit more to the point, let's just say, because he says, I know. He's telling him, it's a little bit off. Okay, he's acknowledging to Brooks that he's not buying what he's putting down necessarily. And so now he's going to go in there and try to have some sense made out of this, which he's not going to be able to do, obviously. They said, and that poor kid, I mean, who knows what they fed him, but they did say they had something simple, and the detective offered, like sandwiches or something. He said it wasn't anything fancy. Ugh. Poor kid.
where was she at when
If there's any activity going on in the house, he doesn't want to go to bed. If everybody turned the lights out and we just got into bed, he's going to follow us in there and lay down with us. But if I go to bed and she stays up, he's not going to come in there to bed till all the lights are out and then she goes to bed. If I was doing something like that and she was in the bed, he's going to stay up with me until the lights are out until I go in there. Do you see what I'm?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what
so he's going to stay up with mom. Right. So, and before you went to bed, or as any conversation, I know you told me that you all had a conversation Friday evening sometime about the kids. We'll talk about that in a minute, but you said you all talked about the kids Friday evening. Does that conversation bleed over to when you get home, or is that conversation done?
No, whenever I got home, I went to bed. I mean, it was relatively, quickly when I got in there. The conversation does not bleed over.
Okay. So you go to bed, she stays up. What's she doing?
She's just on her phone, playing. I don't know what game, but she normally plays a game.
Right.
Some kind. She's got several of them on there, but I don't know which one.
Okay. So she's on her phone, messing around, doing whatever. And you go to bed. Do you know what time Eli came to bed, or she put him into bed?
I don't know.
Don't have any idea.
I normally go to bed earlier than that, so when I went to sleep, I'm a pretty heavy sleeper. I wouldn't have noticed, if he crawled in there,
So you said you're a pretty heavy sleeper. So your phone is getting phone calls. I can see it on your phone logs before 7 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning. Do you hear that going off? Do you normally keep it in there?
Yeah, but I don't have to. At that time, I've got an alarms on my phone at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Sometimes I've got them at 4 and at 7. But my alarm most mornings goes off. I always have it for 6 and 7. But I'll wake up before my alarm goes off. But yeah, it's not uncommon for me to get calls really early in the morning.
So what time do you think you got up on Saturday morning?
I probably woke up around, in between that time, like 6 or 7 o'clock, and then I left. I did my normal thing, changed my clothes, put my clothes on, and headed out. Shortly after that,
Well, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you something. There, on the phone records, there appears to be a phone call around midnight.
All right.
On Friday night, Saturday morning.
All right.
I'm talking about on your way home, basically.
All right.
Do you know who that person was that called you around midnight? Do you
Can't-
remember
no,
taking a phone call?
Can you just call the number back? I don't.
I mean, I could. I could.
What's
I
the
can
phone
look at your
number?
phone and
Yeah,
see
look
what's
at
in
my
there.
phone, but I don't remember
You don't
that.
remember getting a phone call on the way home?
Mhm.
Would it be unusual for you to get a phone call at midnight? I mean, it is for me, and I work for the sheriff's office. I get calls quite regularly. But
Some of the people that do the tile for me, I wouldn't put it past them to call me at any time. They lay brick through the day, and then they're tiling my houses at night. The Thomases I wrote on there, Derek and his brother Tyler Thomas, they'll call me at any time. And I've got to, even if it's just one day, I don't pay them people by the job. They got to get paid by the hour, and then when they get done with it, I pay them.
Right.
That's just what we've agreed on. But yeah, those folks there call me any hour.
it was a pretty short phone conversation is the only reason I asked.
Mhm.
Kind of unusual to get a 13-second phone conversation at midnight. You know, it is for me. It may not be for you. But,
All right. Well,
we'll
check
look
it
at
out.
it.
Yeah,
We'll
check
look
it
at
out in
context.
detail. That's right.
So Saturday morning, you wake up sometime between 6 and 7. I think we decided that Danny Singleton, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
A guy that works for you, was calling you. He called you pretty frequently. You said sometimes you give him incentive to work on Saturdays,
Yeah.
and that may have been why he was calling you. So did you go do some work Saturday morning before you went to your mom's house? Before you went to the farm? Or what did you do Saturday morning?
No, I didn't. I didn't do any other work on Saturday morning. That's where I went out there to the farm.
Mhm.
I don't know exactly what time I got out there, but that's what I had done.
So you get up between 6 and 7, and where's Eli at when you wake up?
He's next to me.
He's in the bed with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you get up. Does he get up with you?
He's still asleep whenever I get up, but I go to the bathroom and all that kind of stuff, and he's still sleeping there on the bed.
And so when you wake up, he's there, but Crystal's not.
She's not.
Okay. And so did you try to call her or?
Yes, I noticed that she wasn't there. I didn't know exactly what to think. I don't know what time I called her. Yes, I called her that morning.
I mean, did you call her before you left the house to go to the
I don't
farm?
remember what time I called her.
Okay, I think I clicked unmute twice. I don't think you guys heard me a few minutes ago. I was saying something, but it's no big deal. Right now, watch his foot. Like, this is the first time during the interview, and I might not have noticed it earlier, but boy, when he said, "Did you try to call Crystal that morning?" Boy, did his foot get shaking. He was shaking up and down so fast. It was more or less fluttering. I'm going to just go back a little bit so you can see. Can you all see his? He is nervous now because the detective is getting into it. He's talking about, when did you go to bed? What time did you go to bed? What time did you get up? What time did you leave the house? And oh, I forgot to ask you something, which of course he didn't forget to ask him about that 13-second call after midnight, which is very unusual. Okay, so here we go. I want you to see. Let's see, 51. Okay, let's just watch his foot again, just for fun.
Did you try to call her or?
Yes, I noticed that she wasn't there. I didn't know exactly what to think. I don't know what time I called her. Yes, I called her that morning.
I mean, did you call her before you left the house to go to the farm?
I don't remember what time I called her.
But do you remember where you were at? Were you at home or were you at the farm? Or you were on the way to the farm? I don't know, somewhere in between.
I don't recall. I don't know.
That's fair enough. So you, before you go to the farm, you feed Eli breakfast?
I did not before we got there. I normally get those squeezable yogurts, all them vitamins and minerals and stuff in it, and he likes to eat stuff like that for breakfast, and it's easy. He can do that in his car seat or whatever he's got to do.
So you think he was eating on the way to the farm?
I don't think he was. I know he was.
Okay.
Now, how much of the yogurt he ate, I don't know.
I'm not worried about that. It's not a question of what he ate or how much he ate. I'm just trying to
Well,
establish
he's a healthy boy.
a
I can tell
pattern
you.
of behavior
Alright.
from that weekend, you know. And here's why, and I'll be honest with you, I have been all along, will continue to be. If I woke up on a Saturday morning and my wife wasn't with me in the bed, as is normal, which might not be normal for you, I don't know, but for me, it would be normal, particularly if my wife's a late sleeper, which mine is as well on Saturdays, for her to be there in the bed when I get up. So if she were not, probably the first thing I would do would be to call her to find out where she was.
But what you're not aware, what you're missing is a lot of times that her and Brooke, her sister, or Sabrina, a lot of these girls that they do all these, they go out and do stuff. Sometimes they do these, this is going to be embarrassing for me to talk to you about, but I'm wanting to get everything cleared up as quickly as I can. They do these fantasy parties. All these girls get together. They talk about and do whatever. And it's not uncommon for them, when they go out and party, they stay out the better part of the night, if not the whole night. So, and of course,
This is really confusing because he didn't say that Crystal was out at all until just now. I thought they were together and she came home in the car with him after midnight. Now he's saying she went out to some party with her girls, which is so embarrassing. I just don't even know why he would bring this up. I guess he's trying to throw shade on her character by saying she does these things, but this one, it really kind of blew me away.
of course, I always have the children, during that. They don't take the kids to that. Matter of fact, I take care of some of their other children while they're the ones going. It's not uncommon because they know I don't get into all that stuff, and they know that I'm a man, don't get me wrong. Understand that, a white-blooded American male, and there's no sense, I'm not telling you anything.
And yes, you heard that right. He's a white-blooded American male. And he's a man. We just want to make sure that the detective knows that, right? Because that's really important while his girlfriend's missing.
And different, but they do all these parties and order all this stuff. Well, who gets the kids? I'm good enough to get the kids for all this, and I'm a good enough person to do that. And then when everybody sees a little bit of distress, they're going to throw me under the bus. They need to re-examine all these other actions, how, and I can understand the family wanting to vent and stress, and it makes perfect sense to me. But these people know me better than what's going on. And before this is all over and done with, you all are too. But it bothers me because not only have I been a victim, my mind's not even where it should be because I'm trying to protect Eli from this. And he's the most important person that I'm trying to protect. I don't care about them dragging my name through the mud right now because I want to keep the main focus and emphasis on bringing her back safely and as quickly as possible. But it really bothers me what's being done in the method that everybody's pursuing and doing, because what's going to happen is I don't want their apology. I don't want nothing from them. But then after this is all said and done, they're going to sweep it under the rug, and then they're just going to forget about what they've done to me in the process. What I've got to be based.
Oh, this is definitely not aging well, is it? Is it? Oh my gosh, he's so concerned about himself. He finally, after all of those extra words, mentioned something about bringing Crystal back home safely. But wow, this doesn't go down any better after you've heard this more than once. Let me put it that way. Wow. Yeah, he's the victim. He's the victim here.
With now is as good a mother as Crystal's been. Now, nobody's gonna love you like a mother. Now Eli is in an atmosphere where I've got all the hope in the world.
Exactly. I don't know what he's talking about either. And he's saying he's trying to protect Eli, he's 2, from all of this. What is he trying to protect Eli from? I mean, Eli's lost his mother. He might have said, I'm trying to be both a mother and a father to Eli right now, maybe would be a little bit more important. But this protect Eli and understanding what they're going through, isn't, if he's not involved, isn't he going through that? Isn't he, just like the family, going through it too? He definitely has separated himself within days of her going missing. He's separated himself from the rest of the family or anyone who wants her back, right there in that crazy statement. That is what he did. I don't know if you heard it, but that's what I heard. Along with some other odd things, but more of the distracting and trying to take the attention off of what it should be on. And of course, the I am the victim. We all know who is often claims they're the victims are the perpetrators, which is really sad. And hello, everyone who's joining us.
But now I'm a single parent, it appears to me, where she's been there 100% of the time for him to raise and rear him, where I know that he didn't have to go to a daycare or.
Again, I'm a single parent. This reminds me so much of Wendy Adelson's Interrogation. I'm a single parent? How would you? It's only been a couple days since she was missing. And he claims she didn't have anything to do with her missing and is expecting her back, right? How is he a single parent all of a sudden? That's quite an adjustment. Oh, look at who's showing up in my floaties there. That's pretty funny.
A babysitter, and I know that his mother is going to take care of him. And now, where am I at without that love and support from her? Mm-hmm. Now I've got a little boy who's 2, who's going to grow up his life. If something's not done where she's not brought back safely, now one of the very most important people in his life, he's got to grow up without. Right. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I'm in here answering a bunch of bullshit that I'm doing the best that I can possibly do with, but it's taken a lot of energy and effort away from the other efforts that could be out there trying to help and bring her back here safely. I can't even go out on the side of the road without looking like a murderer or something like that's wrong. I've been extremely honest with you all, and now I'm up here doing, they can have the house, I'll take anything that you want. You don't need any of that paperwork or search warrants. And now I'm up here trying to get my head where I can be on the side of being able to protect myself and defend myself for my son whenever I'm the one that's, I feel like, has the largest loss. Yeah. So do what you got to do. I'll do whatever I can, but this is starting to get silly. I don't need it.
Yeah, he just said it. I'm the one who's had the largest loss. He just said it. He said that out loud.
An attorney. I haven't asked for an attorney. I don't need none of that. I'm innocent. I'm willing to talk to whoever. But this to me is really starting to get silly, because I feel like I don't have a Facebook page. I don't have time to get on the internet. I don't know a lot about computers. Crystal did all that for me. I didn't have to do it because that's something else that she always took care of. So now I have people coming back to me telling me that they're completely trashing me online for the home media. You know, I've taken 17 years of my life, and I feel like I've worked hard to get a good education. I've worked hard all these years. I've built a nice life for me and my family, and now my whole family's name is trashed for something that's completely not even tied to me.
Okay. Sorry, but that was what that was. And now his whole entire family's name is trashed because of something that's not even tied to him. Well, guess what? It is tied to you. It's the mother of your child. It's the woman you were living with, the woman who you just said you loved. How could she not be tied to you? Wow. So now not only you're the victim, your family is the victim as well. Wow. 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 Okay, here we go.
That's where I'm at right now. So I'm extremely upset. I'm hurt over it. I try to put on a tough shell and a bubble and move forward. It's extremely difficult to get up in the morning and push on and look at Eli and know that here I've got a million things going on that I have to get done. And then who's going to suffer? He is. And it's not right. I'm ready to hire an auctioneer to sell all this stuff so I can be there for him like Chris. What else do you want to know?
Take a minute, it's all right.
No,
It's fine to be upset, I understand. It's fine to be mad. I understand that too.
he's there asking for everybody. This is a shock to him.
It's okay to be upset by it, I understand. It's okay to be upset at her family. They're
Yeah, but their emotions are so shot right now, and I can understand it. And I don't, if that's how they want to be in,
But you're allowed to be emotional too.
that's
okay.
fine.
You're allowed
What
to
they're
be
mad
emotional.
about is the darn cell phone that I took away from Ashley because her mother told for me to take it away from her. That's what they're mad about. And it's just been a spiral since then in October. And ever since then, their attitude towards me and everything is so wrong. For punishing a 16-year-old girl when she's not hurt, she's not hit, nothing like that. And I'm the worst person in the world for having any, and I understand I'm not her dad, I'm not her disciplinary figure. If she disobeyed her mother, I followed a direct order from her mother. Mother couldn't get it from her. I took her cell phone from her, and then it's just been hell ever since.
That was the whole thing about the wrist?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they took her up to the hospital and did the same with CPS and all this bunch of garbage. They ruled it unsubstantiated, or however they wanted to say it. No bearing or whatever you want. You can pull the reports. They documented it all. You can get all that stuff too.
You want some water?
No, I'm good. Let's move forward. Whatever you need, I'm here to give to you.
Okay.
I'm innocent. I don't need an attorney, so I'm good. Ask whatever you want to ask.
Well, if we can just continue with the conversation, and I don't want to rush you. Take your time. I think we left off around about Saturday morning. So you guys got up, and she wasn't there. So you and Eli got ready and went to the farm. Did you go anywhere else before you went to the farm?
I didn't stop at McDonald's or nothing to get any kind of breakfast because he had that yogurt, that squeezable breakfast, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. Someone's still in the refrigerator if you want one.
That's fine. So you went to the farm, and was your mom there Saturday? Do you remember?
I didn't stop at the house up there either that morning.
What do you do with Eli while you're working on the equipment? Is he in the equipment?
I'm usually not one that works on the equipment. Sometimes I might drive some of it, but yeah, if I get on that little tractor, he rides in my lap.
No, but I'm saying you said you worked on the driveway, on the drive in front of the barn there. So
Yeah, but no, he's got 5 or 6 tricycles and big wheels and stuff like that he plays on. It don't take a lot.
This isn't about your parenting skills. Don't misunderstand.
I understand, yeah, but
I'm not asking you about that, but if you're working on the dozer, is Eli in the dozer with you, or is he out playing in the yard?
I'm not really working on the dozer. He's got 5 or 6 of them tricycles and big wheels things that are at the barn. And if he's not out there with the cows or something, he rides them little toys around. We got them down there in the barn. We got them out there in the driveway. They don't take a lot to entertain him. A lot of times he pedals or does whatever he does.
Sure. But how long would you think that it took you to fix that area you said was taking on water there in front of the barn with the
No, I don't know. A lot of times on Saturday, I just use that as as a place to vent and get away from what I call the city, not just like Bardstown, the city, but all the city stuff that goes on, loud music and all that. Out there, you hear crickets.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear a lot of people. So I'll go out there to kind of, a lot of times just to get away from the stress of all these tenants and stuff, calling these new construction contractors and stuff. It's a kind of a little vacation away from home.
Right, but you told me earlier that on Saturday you fixed the spot in front of the barn where the water was going in.
Yeah, if the water's not, if it's not been like raining a solid week or whatever, you can't really tell if it hits and misses. Sometimes if we get a substantial amount of rain, you can kind of tell where problems are, like, you know, and I could tell. So that's, you know, that's just what I did. Just piddle, just nothing important, just piddle.
Right, but
Okay, we're getting close to the half hour point, but yeah, I'll bring up some of the infographics I made for you all that I forgot to post, and I think I should do another review of this case maybe after we're done with the interrogation, not tonight, but the next whenever we finish the interrogation. But here again, I don't know if you saw the way he ended his statement. Watch when he does a long statement and then he kind of poses, he pushes his shoulder forward like, I don't know, I want to say like a little girl, and kind of contorts his body a little, pulls up on his leg and makes sure it's crossed all neat and tidy. I mean, it's just a really odd affect for a big guy. It's just it's very strange in this setting. It tells me that there's just a lot of anxiety and he's actually performing and not just having a discussion and answering questions. The fact that he is saying, I am innocent, nobody's charged him with, nobody's made an accusation. I always find it interesting when people say, I'm innocent. Like, that would not be the first thing that would come from to my mind. It might be, I didn't hurt, or I didn't have anything to do with her being missing or whatever. I don't know anything about this, but I am innocent takes it all to a whole another level. It takes it to the, okay, now I'm being tried in court. I don't know if people realize how that sounds. So he's finally got his little cry out. I forgot he cried for that long. Quite honestly, I totally forgot that. We're almost to the 30-minute mark for tonight, but I do want to let you know in the chat, I will give you those hearing dates. And welcome, Angela. Yes, this is a conspiracy. Oh my gosh, Angela. Okay, I'll do a quick review, really quick review after we hit we've got about three more minutes in this interrogation. Goodness gracious. And it took almost 8 years for him to get arrested as well. He's finally been arrested. Sound familiar?
would Eli normally be in the bulldozer with you while you're operating it? Was he in there with you while you were operating?
He's drove it, not that more there he wasn't. But yeah, I mean, he has been in, he's drove the bulldozer before. He's drove all the tractors out there before.
So that morning, did you say his mom was or wasn't home? You don't know?
I don't remember.
You don't know. So you don't know that he was out riding on his tricycles or whatever. When you said in the driveway, you mean the driveway for the house or the driveway where that you're working on?
Say it again now.
You said you were working on the driveway in front of the barn with the dozer, right?
Yeah, from down there by.
And you said he was probably riding on tricycles or something.
Yeah, I'm sure he's running on the concrete slab. It's easier for him to pedal on the slab than it is outside there, and I can see him better. My visibility's better if he's in there than out here.
Right. So he was here by the barn and not over by the house in the barn.
No, he wasn't by the house.
Gotcha. Okay. So you guys finish up whatever you're
maybe later that day or something. He might have went over there. The chickens might have come down there. He might have done something with them. I don't know. But it's not uncommon for him to, the chickens out there, they can be fast, but they're not scared of people because he plays with them so much. But you can catch them pretty easy. I mean, he treats them like a cat.
Mm-hmm. So you guys, any idea how long you were out there? Saturday?
It was usually on Saturday I'm not in any kind of a rush because I try to take
The detective asks, "How long were you there on Saturday?" And just notice again, I'm not stopping on everything because I'd be stopping every second, but just notice that how Brooks answers. He says, "Oh, it was about this time to that time." No, he says, "Usually on Saturdays, I blah blah blah." So he said, "Do you know what time, how long you were out there?" He's talking about that specific day. There's no question about what day they're talking about because Brooks is telling him everything that his 2-year-old kid is doing. He's not telling him what he's doing. He's telling him what the 2-year-old kid is doing. And then when he specifically asks about the time, he says, "Well, usually on Saturdays, blah, blah, blah." That just right away, all this distancing just tells it's not a good look. It really makes me feel like he's not being at all forthright or honest.
I usually try to take it easy on Saturday.
Okay. So did you eat lunch out there?
I don't know if I ate lunch there. I know I ate supper out there at Fabian's house that night because he had everybody over there at his house for, there's about, I don't know, maybe 150 people over there at my mom's brother's house. Mm-hmm. We went out there for a short while. It wasn't real long. I know I ate there. Eli ate there. I don't know what we did for lunch. I can't remember.
Okay. Did you go from the farm to Fabian's, or
I don't know if I took I may have went home and taken a shower from being out there on the farm. I don't want to go there smelling like a bunch of cows.
Sure.
I may have went home. I'm not sure. I don't know. I may have went home and took a shower and then came back. That's more than likely what I did, but I can't remember.
Okay. So then sometime Saturday evening, you went over to Fabian's house. Do you remember around about what time that was? That would have been 4th of July.
Yeah, that's when we were supposed to go to that.
Mm-hmm. Did you all stay out there for fireworks, or?
We didn't stay that late. I know that there was a bunch of people there that I hadn't seen in a good while. That my mom's got a pretty large family that I hadn't seen that I wanted to see them, but we didn't stay out there real late.
Do you any idea how many times you've called Crystal at this point? By the time you went from getting up Saturday morning until you were going to the family gathering?
I know I called her back around maybe noon again the second time, and I don't know what the exact time I called her after that, but I know that sometimes in the past, if I called her to blow her phone up, it made it worse. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I've just called periodically, and I found that she doesn't take as much offense to that. If you're just disrespectful to them, especially if somebody's mad, it just makes it worse.
Right.
Call them. I wasn't even alarmed. I was for sure the girls were doing this to me on purpose. Brooke and Sabrina and them.
So while you're at the family gathering at Fabian's house, anybody ask you where Crystal was?
Mm-mm. She hadn't went out there to Fabian's house a whole lot. Some of them people knew her, some of them people out there wouldn't.
Okay, I'm going to use this as a stopping point. You can see the time on the wall there is 6:20 p.m. I thought it was very interesting that he said, "Oh, I was convinced the girls were doing this to me on purpose." Okay, so again, he's making it about him. He's saying all of her friends were out to get him, and I find that super interesting. Yeah, no. So, okay, so I'm just going to just do a little quick review here. Nothing too much, nothing too long, but let me just do this. Okay, guys, let's talk about this whole this whole Bardstown mess. Okay, for those of you who are a little bit newer and just by way of review, let me get this. Can you see this okay? Such a victim. I know, it's crazy. Can you see the timeline and let's just call it a family tree here. Can you see that okay? Okay. So here we go. Here we go. This is especially for Angela, and I know that a couple and Tennis Girl wanted a review real quick. So again, how do we begin? So over here on the bottom, you'll see victims underneath these names. Okay, so we have, let me go over here where I'm presenting this to you. Okay, yeah, so we have a police officer who is a victim, Jason Ellis, 2013. Jason Ellis was a Bardstown police officer. He was the only sole canine handler for the Bardstown Police Department, which is significant because the canine unit would go out generally speaking, for all the drug and narcotics busts. So this officer was inexplicably shot. It definitely was an assassination. I'm not going to go into all the details. Each one of these has a story, okay? But so far, no one has been held responsible as of yet. However, they are getting closer. The number 2 and 3 victims in 2014 were a beloved special ed teacher and her daughter, who was an honor student, who were brutally, very sadistically murdered in their home. Some people think there's a connection. I haven't heard anything where I would want to repeat that on this channel, but I am leaving them in the timeline just for the sake of acknowledgement that Bardstown, Kentucky has a problem with murders that have gone unsolved. In 2015, we have Crystal Rogers, who we're focusing on here tonight with Brooks Houck's interview, because he was in the police interview room or interrogation disappearance in this interrogation that we're going through. This was done within days of her being reported as missing by her mother, not by him, not by Brooks, but by her mother after not hearing from her. And then in 2016, her father, Crystal Rogers' father, sadly, another victim, and his name is Tommy Ballard. And that was Crystal Rogers. Crystal Rogers had a married name, and then she was later on with Brooks. They were not married, but they did have a child together. Tommy Ballard was said to have been getting close to finding out who killed his daughter and where she was. They still do not have her body as of yet. And I'm not looking at comments right now, so I will get back over to the comments in the chat. So just chat away. And if you have any questions for me, I'll do my best to answer. Just use the red question marks if you can. That'd be great, but I'll do my very best. Now, so these murders from 2013 to 2016, there were no arrests made until last year. So it was about 8 years before the arrest started happening. However, in 2015, and someone in the chat so astutely brought this up, this is Danny Singleton, who was a friend of Brooks and also did some work for him on the farm. I can't remember if he was or was not the one that Brooks was talking about in terms of the person doing the bartering. He was said not to have been there Friday night when Crystal was last known to be with Brooks on that property, which, by the way, his mother owns, who is grandmother to their 2-year-old Eli. We'll get to that. And he was not charged with anything, but he was charged with perjury, and he did go to jail, which is pretty unusual, but that was way back in 2015. Then we had arrests finally start to have, let me go back to 2015. If you go all the way to the top of the chart, you see in blue fired, you see a 2015, a gentleman in a police uniform. Well, he's no longer wearing a police uniform. That's Nick Houck's Brooks Houck's brother. His brother was on the police department at the time of this interrogation, at the time of the Crystal going missing, at the time of Jason Ellis being shot, which is significant, and all kinds of other things. So Nick Houck was fired from his job for interfering with the investigation. And that's actually going to come up in either next week or one of the next two interviews that we go through. If you want to not wait and you want to see the whole interrogation, look in the description. There is a link to that video. There's only a few videos so far that I've done on this, so you can see them all and get caught up if you like. It's fascinating case. And then after we're done with Brooks Houck's police interrogation, we're going to be doing Nick Houck's, which is much shorter, but it's pretty interesting. So of course they're brothers. They share a mother. To the right of Nick Houck's up top there, that's Rosemary Houck, and that is the mother and of the two sons, as well as a daughter over there on the right. Her name is, I think it's Rhonda, and if I'm not mistaken, and I do believe that's a correct photo of her, Rhonda, Nick, Brooks, and Rosemary, and who I don't even know who else. They also have a grandmother over there on the right who's involved. They were all found to have recorded the grand jury proceedings for Brooks Houck that were back in 2015. Now, that wasn't found out until last year, but it's pretty insane that this whole family, yes, they're involved. They're involved in, if nothing else, trying to slant how this arresting and not conviction, but him being charged or not charged by the grand jury indictment and all of that. They've got their hands in it, but finally after 2023, these arrests started happening. And of course the FBI got involved in all that. So there are 5 murders. We've got one dude that's already gone to jail for perjury. We've got one dude who's a police officer, got fired for interfering. And then we have 2 other arrests over there on the left. You'll see Joseph Lawson and his father, Stephen Lawson. Joseph is younger. He's in a wheelchair. I believe he's disabled. I can't remember what his disability is, but he did appear in a hearing. I think it was today or yesterday that I saw. It was pretty brief. He was still in the jail and he was in a wheelchair. And then his father, and they are charged with conspiracy. Okay. And they are in jail, and Brooks Houck was finally arrested, as I mentioned, in September, I believe late September of just last year. And he wanted to get out. They set the bond bail at $10 million, which was unprecedented, but he has that money, so they wanted to make sure he didn't flee. So in addition, his grandmother, Rosemary's mother-in-law, actually not mother by birth, was also involved because evidently it was her car that was supposed to have been used by somebody. It may have some connection to transporting Crystal somewhere. We don't know a whole lot about it, but she's also been very stubborn and incooperative. And so that's what's so funny. You see all this, and you have Brooks Houck in his police interview saying, "Oh, I don't need a lawyer. I'm innocent. I want to tell you everything." Well, that's not the case. They are not telling everything. There's just this humongous conspiracy, and it's taken years to unravel. And from what we understand, it's going to be really unraveling more in this upcoming year, this year in 2024. So there's more arrests expected, and we are all here for it because it's been far too long. So I'm back over to the chat. Okay. Yes. Yeah. this whole thing. Okay. I'm sitting here saying, yeah, but I'm not telling you what I'm saying, not telling you what I'm responding to. Okay. Oh, and then the hearings too. So, let's go back. Any questions? So start going to, how come I can't, that's weird. Oh, I see. It's like a video, but it's not really a video. Okay, so he's Wendy Adelson. Cry switch. Yes, isn't that interesting? I couldn't remember him crying like that. He really did do that quite well. What a performance. And I think I have a problem, tennis. They are all with me. I'm not sure what you're responding to, but I think I do too. We're all in this together, my friends. We're all in this together. Yeah. Oh, right. We waited so long for Charlie's trial, and it seemed like forever. It certainly didn't disappoint. And of course, Donna's arrest, we felt like it was going to happen, but that quickly, it's been quite a whirlwind. But it's going to be a little while, I think, before that completely gets sorted out. And yeah, there are a lot of victims out there who really everyone should be talking about. And I'm super glad that more people are learning more about this all of these murders in Bardstown. I first heard about it, I don't know, a couple of years ago. There's a really good YouTuber. It's called, his channel, his name is Mike, and his channel is called That's Chapter. I believe he's Irish, if I'm not mistaken. And he does really good, short, like 20-minute condensed summaries, let's say, of cases. And we don't always like, he's not going to be your deep dive guy and all that, but he does it in a compassionate way, and he also is extremely funny. He's just a joy to watch. And if I'm not mistaken, that is where I heard originally about Bardstown, not specifically Crystal, but the police officer, Officer Ellis, and the fact that there were 5 murders. So Tommy Ballard, Crystal's father, was spearheading the search for Crystal. There were lots and lots of community searches where the public would be invited to come out and walk and do look for her where she was last, where her car was found, and that kind of thing. And by the way, there are some other weird deaths. For example, they didn't find Crystal in her car, but they found her car abandoned on the highway, the bluegrass actually, and everything was in it, like her phone, her purse, and all of those things, as if, I don't know, as if she just disappeared from her car without any of her belongings. It's kind of strange. But so they never found her, but they found another body buried near her car. So that's kind of weird. Like there's so much. I mean, I can only imagine there's even more that we don't know about that happened there. So that I don't remember if they even identified that person's body. Southern accents are, yeah, sometimes it does. It helps watching more than once. I agree. I'm missing things. When I see something, I have to, these police interrogations, especially, or trials even, you hear a long testimony or somebody's on a witness stand for hours. You're not going to be sharp every moment, and especially if you're in the chat, you're going to miss things. And so watching more than once is usually very helpful. Okay. They're waiting to arrest Nick for the murder of, why do you think they're waiting for? I don't think they're waiting. I don't think they're waiting. Okay, now we're talking about the Murdaugh trial. We've got some hearing coming up in the Murdaugh trial, possible retrial coming up too. Okay. All right, you guys. So this should give you a little taste of what's going on. I'm going to post the infographics, I promise. There isn't going to be another hearing, I don't think, until February, but if the one was today, there was one on December 19th as well. So I think we've got another month or two for the next hearing. So you're not going to miss anything, and I promise I will share it when that tomorrow or soon. Yeah, probably tomorrow. Okay. So yes, this is definitely a conspiracy. They've been charged with conspiracy. Yes, not just murder. This is a true. That's right. Lots of murders, and we can say it on this channel because I'm not monetized. So it is what it is. It is a very mad and sad world that we're living in. And yes, and by the way, Brooks' mother, Rosemary Houck, who you see pictured here, was trying to get, I believe, full custody of Eli, Crystal, and his child. She dropped that when it was found out that she had been found to be recording the grand jury proceedings. Now, I don't know how that worked, but she did drop that. And also, Crystal's mother has moved forward with a civil trial. So the civil trial is just starting now. So that is, oftentimes people will wait until after a criminal trial has completed, but because I'm sure she has her reasons for not waiting. She's waited long enough. And I am really applaud her for going ahead with the civil trial at this time, that this family does have enough money to help. Crystal had 5 children in total, not just Eli. She had 4 other children. So she has been helping. Her mother, Sherry Ballard, has been helping, of course, with that. But the civil, he allegedly took her. He's not been convicted yet. He's been arrested, however, and indicted. So by all accounts, he's taken their mother away from them. So, okay, let me go back. All right, guys, I'm losing my voice. Hi, chat. Hi, Rom. Sorry if I missed anyone in the comments. I'm trying to not be totally distracted. Yeah, somewhat like the Wagner case, but definitely more like the Markel case, unfortunately. Yeah, it's good to see you. And Rom, if you get your kitten, you let us know. Want to see pictures. Okay. All right, everyone. So I'm going to call it a night. It's been an hour and a half. It's been great spending time with you. And I'm glad you were into this, because I think it's, as I said, a very important case and worthwhile. And it's going to keep a lot of people busy for a long time, as did the Markel case, and will continue to. So it's super good to see you. I love being here with you guys. And hey, if anything comes up, of course, I'll pop on. But otherwise, I'll see you next week sometime. Enjoy the fires. Enjoy your bourbon. And by the way, for those who missed the connection, there's also bourbon involved in this one. So enjoy your fireside sip of bourbon virtually with my extra, and have a good night. And thanks again for joining me. Bye for now.